Good morning, students. This is Aisha Sultana, Assistant Professor of EC Department from ISL Engineering College. As your fourth semester has been started, we are going in this semester. I am going to take the subject PLIC, that is Pulse and Linear Integrated Circuits. So in today's class, we'll just going to see the introduction part of your PLIC. What are the chapters that we are going to see in this semester? Okay, and the introduction about your first chapter. So before we move on to the introductory part of your first chapter, I would like to show you the syllabus of your subject, that is PLIC. You are having this subject you are having same as 5 units, and the credits you are going to have for this subjects are 3. Okay, as the first unit that you are having in this subject is linear shaping and non-linear shapings. Second, you are going to see about multivibrators and time-based generators. Third, you will be having differential and operational amplifiers. Fourth chapter is about operational amplifier applications or op-amp applications. That will be a continuation of your third chapter, operational amplifiers here. And the fifth chapter that you are having is a 555 timer and data converters. This is the syllabus of your PLIC subject. In that one, we are going to see our first chapter, that is linear wave shaping. By the name itself, you can find it out what you are going to do in this first chapter. So in this, you are having this first chapter is divided into 2 parts, that is part A and part B. In the part A, we are going to discuss about linear wave shaping. In that, you are having high pass filters, low pass filters for different inputs like sinusoidal, step, pulse, square and RAM inputs. Then you are going to see the RC networks as differentiator as well as the integrator, then attenuators and the applications in CRO probe. In the last semester, you have seen the EWS workshop lab, that is electronic workshop lab, where you have practically done about the CRO. You have seen the application of that one. I hope you all remember that one. Once just revise about the CRO also, we'll all see in this one. Okay, let's just start for the first chapter, and the first unit, the first part of that one is linear wave shaping. So the very first thing is linear wave shaping. What is meant by a linear network? So a linear network is a network which is made up of all the linear elements only. The only linear elements will be preferred there as to make that one. So that particular network is called as your linear network. So a linear network can be described by linear differential equations that you are going to do there. And the principle of superposition and the principle of homogeneity hold the good for the linear networks. So which two principles that are very good for your linear networks are your principle of superposition and principle of homogeneity. These are the two principles that you are going to use in the linear networks. Do you remember what is the superposition theorem? The response of a linear network containing several independent sources is found by considering each independent source separately and then adding the individual responses. And when you are going to evaluating these responses, due to one each source of the equal independent sources is replaced by the internal impedance. This was all about the response of your superposition theorem. Okay. So that was actually the superposition theorem. But in simple words, if I go to explain what is superposition theorem, or what it states, that in a linear system or in any branch of bilateral network circuit having one or more independent sources that are equal to the algebraic sum of the responses which is caused by each independent source, separate sources, independent sources in that particular network. So if you are considering linear networks, the best theorems that the best principle of theorems that you are going to work is your principle of superposition as well as principle of homogeneity. These are the two good theorems which we will be using for your linear networks. And next, what we have said, the first chapter is the linear wave shaping. The waves that you are using, the pulses we mostly use, or we mostly see are the mostly frequently used waveforms are your sinusoidal, step, pulse, square and ramp and exponentially waveforms. So the most important of these are sinusoidal step waveform, or the pulse square waveform, ramp waveform, and exponential waveforms. That we are going to see. And the response of RC circuit or the RL circuit or the RLC circuits to these signals are described in this particular chapter, what you are going to see here. Out of these signals, the sinusoidal signal has a unique characteristics. So what I have said, there are different kinds of signal. Out of that one, sinusoidal is having some unique characteristics. I'll go just to highlight that part. See, out of these signals, the sinusoidal signal has a unique characteristic that it preserves its shape when it is transmitted through a linear network. That is, under steady state condition, the output will be precise reproduction of the input sinusoidal signal. There will be only change in its amplitude of the signal, and there may be a phase shift between the input and output waveforms. So what is the unique characteristic that you are having in the sinusoidal waveform? The shape won't be changed when you are transmitting through a linear network. Instead, if there is any like error or any something change has been done, that will be shown in terms of your amplitude. That also I'll highlight over here, in terms of amplitude, or there will be some phase shift change in that output waveform, or else your output will be similar in case of there is no change in that one. So that is the unique feature of your sinusoidal signal. So these influence of the circuit on the signal may be completely specified by the ratio of output to the input amplitude by the phase angle between the output and the input. And the no periodic waveform preserves its shape precisely when transmitted through a linear network, and in many cases the output signal may bear very little resemblance to the input signal. What does this mean? So no periodic signals. What are the periodic signals, ma'am? If I consider a step signal or a pulse signal or a square signal, that all are your periodic signals. Okay, so that particular signals, that shape is precisely what it doesn't preserve the same output when they are transmitted from a transmitter to the receiver, or from a transmitter through a linear network, because in many cases the output signal may bear very little resemblance. Means in many cases you won't get. So in many cases there is no in many cases the output signal may bear very little resemblance, like it won't came we won't get the proper output same as what we have given at the input side. So there is only very small chance that of getting the same input value as at the output side. So that is what about your small introduction about your linear network and the shaping of what you are going to do over there. Okay. So the process whereby the form of non-sinusoidal signal is altered by transmitting through a linear network is called as your linear wave shaping. So the process whereby the form of non-sinusoidal signal is altered by transmitting through a linear network is called as linear wave shaping. So what is what actually the linear wave shaping means? It is the process to form a non-sinusoidal signal which is altered by transmitting through a linear network, which makes your a linear means you are asked to get a proper linear shape. You are using that particular condition, and that process is called as your linear wave shaping. I repeat it once again. The process whereby to form a non-sinusoidal signal is altered by transmission through a linear network is called as your linear wave shaping. Means if I give an example of some step signal that has been passed through a linear network as to get a non-sinusoidal signal, then it is called as your linear wave shaping. So in that one, first we are going to see about the low pass RC circuits. Okay, what is a low pass RC circuit? How the low pass RC circuit will be there? First, resistor and your capacitor. A low pass RC circuit which transmits only the lower frequency and stops or attenuates your higher frequency, or which passes the lower frequency and attenuates your higher frequency. Name itself you can see that what is a low pass filter, correct? In that one, low pass RC circuit is the first one. So this is the figure of your low pass RC circuit, Now at the zero frequency, I am considering the first condition is at zero frequency, the reactance of the capacitor is infinity. That is, the capacitor acts as an open circuit. This capacitor will be acting as open circuit. So the entire input appears at the output side. So the whatever you are giving the input over here, that complete input will be appeared at the output side, because the capacitor is acting as an open circuit. So that is, the input is transmitted to the output with zero attenuation, means there is no change in your output. Whatever the input we have given, that proper output will be appeared at your output side. So the output is same as the input. At which frequency? At the zero frequency. So the output will be same as the input when you are giving the zero frequency. And the gain will also be unity, means you will be getting the full gain, that is A is equals to 1. As the frequency increases, now at the zero frequency f is equals to 0, your gain A is equals to 1, means the output is same as your input. Now I am increasing the frequency, the capacitor reactance now decreases. So the output will also be decreased, means you will not be getting the same output output what we have given at the input side. So at very high frequency, the capacitors virtually acts as a short circuit and output falls to 0, means there is no input value that will be showed at the output. So the obviously your capacitor, your output will be 0. This was about your low pass RC circuit. At zero frequency, f is equals to 0, your input is equals to output, your gain is equals to 1. At frequency is equals to high, or f is equals to 1, your capacitor will be acting as a short circuit, your output will be equals to 0, and obviously your gain will also be equals to 0. This was about your RC low pass filter. Now see the first one, sinusoidal input. Okay, we are going to produce a sinusoidal waveform. So the first one is your, now the first one I am considering as sinusoidal input. If the condition A, if the input voltage is sinusoidal, I am giving the input voltage as a sinusoidal input, then what will be the expression and how it will be obtained. So the Laplacian transformed low pass RC circuit for this one is given over here. The same RC circuit, you are having VIS, nothing but input voltage, V0 of S, it is the output voltage. Okay. So here the gain versus frequency curve of a low pass circuit is excited by a sinusoidal wave, and that is given over here. This curve is obtained by keeping the amplitude of the input sinusoidal voltage constant and varying its frequency and noting the output of each frequency. What I am going to change, amplitude is always constant, I am just changing the frequency and noting down the values. Okay, so at the lower frequency, the output, we have already said, at the frequency f is equals to 0, you will be getting the full input as the output, and your gain will also be equals to 1. Correct, for the low pass RC circuit. Here also is the same thing. What I am doing, at the low frequency, the output is equals to the input, and you are having the high gain, which is as unity. As the frequency increases, the output decreases, and the frequency at which the gain is 1 by under root of 2, that is nothing but 0.707 is the maximum value, that is called as your cutoff frequency. So for a low pass filter, there is no lower cutoff frequency, and it is 0 itself. Only it is having upper cutoff frequency, because you will be having completely 0 if your frequency increases. Okay, so there is no lower cutoff frequency, you are only having higher or upper cutoff frequency, and that is given as here, the upper cutoff frequency, that is given as 1 by under root of 2, that is up 0.70 value, or the maximum value. So the bandwidth of the low pass circuit is equal to the upper cutoff frequency, this particular one. And this you can obtain by applying the Laplacian transform. So as to get that one, so students, please do note down very carefully the equation what I am going to tell, because here that equation is not given, the input equation, directly it is given from the gain. Okay, we have directly from the gain, you have got the values over here. A is equals to output voltage divided by input voltage. So I am telling you the input voltage, sinusoidal input voltage equation. Vi of t is equals to Vm sin omega t. So we are making use of this Laplacian transform as to analyze the circuit in S domain. So that's the reason we have got here S. Okay, so we are using the S domain since there is no charge on the capacitor, and we ignore the initial conditions and can define the transfer equation as V naught of S divided by Vi of S of the circuit, and we are applying the KVL voltage, KVL law over here along the circuit. Which circuit? V naught of S divided by Vi of S means the output, whatever we have got it. So applying the Laplace transform to the equation, the very first one, Vi of t is equals to Vm sin omega of t, that is the input voltage equation. To that one you apply the Laplacian transform, and then you will get the equation as Vi of S is equals to I of S into R plus SC. Here the equation is available. So I of S of 1R plus 1 by SE. This is the equation where with the I we have to get over here, because this I will be cancelled. Where I of S is equals to, you will be calculating and you will be getting V naught of S is equals to I of S divided by S of C. So by overall calculating that equations, then you will be getting the gain as V naught of S divided by Vi of S, and V naught of S is your output voltage is 1 by Cs divided by R plus 1 by Cs. If you cancel this Cs and cross multiply this value, then you will be getting 1 by 1 plus R into Cs, the resistance and the capacitance value. That I am giving in terms of j omega. So 1 by 1 plus j omega into RC is, that is the overall equation you will be getting as 1 by 1 plus 2 pi j. This instead of omega I am writing it as 2 pi f. So 1 by j 2 pi f RC. So the overall gain, the steady state gain of your low pass filter when sinusoidal input is given, then you will be getting the answer as A is equals to 1 by under root of 1 plus 2 pi f RC whole square. So the upper cutoff frequency for this one is given as 1 by root 2. So I am equating this equation 1 by root 2, this we have already got. Okay, now equate this equation 1 by root 2, that is equals to 1 by root of 1 plus 2 pi f2 RC whole square. You can cancel the square roots. Yes, you can cancel this one also. So squaring on the both side and the equating the denominators, then you will be getting 2 is equals to 1 plus 2 pi f2 RC whole square. So what you will be getting the equation, f2 is equals to 1 by 2 RC. So the upper cutoff frequency can be given as 1 by 2 RC. So the overall equation of what you will be getting over here is A is equals to, so the magnitude of the steady state gain A and the angle theta by which the output leads the input. So I'll repeat it once again. The angle theta by which the output leads the input are given as A is equals to 1 by root of 1 plus f by f2 whole square. This is the what a steady state gain, the actual steady state gain, this one, this particular one, and the angle by which output leads to the input. Okay, the angle at which the output leads to the input is theta is equals to tan inverse of f by f2. This is the angle. I hope you will be clear with this one, but the initial values of inputs and outputs, that I'll repeat it once again, ma, or else I'll give the notes for that particular one. You might be a bit confused like how we got these equations. I'll give the notes of that particular one so that it will be very clear. Whenever you are applying, the first you have to give the input value Vi of t, Vi of t is equals to Vm into sine omega of t. So through that one we have to apply the Laplace transform and analyze that particular circuit in S domain. So Vi of t is equals to, very first equation, Vi of t is equals to Vn sine omega t, and you are applying your KVL and you are applying the Laplace transform, then the output that you will be obtained as Vi of S is equals to I of S into R plus 1 by SC. S will be small, the suffix, or CS also you can write it as R plus 1 by CS. So I of S is equals to, I'll cross change, I of S is equals to Vi of S divided by R plus R of 1 plus 1 by R CS. So that is how we are going to calculate. I'll give these equations along with this one. So do practice it once again. In case of any doubts, please let me know. Please go through this video properly, the very introductory part of your PLIC. I hope you in the first class it will be somewhat confusing because there are some formulas that are missing over here. So this was about the first topic, that is low pass RC circuit. What is the low pass RC circuit? At a high frequency and low frequency, what is the gain? Okay, so at a frequency, first frequency is equals to 0. The same output, input whatever you have given, that is the output that you will be obtained. At a frequency, as frequency increases, you will be getting the 0 output. There is no output you will be getting, so no input, so that will be given to at the output. So this is how, and you will be not having any lower cutoff frequency, you will be having upper cutoff frequency, that is 0.70. And as the frequency increases, your gain will be decreased and it will be given to the 0. So this was about your low pass RC circuit and its frequency response. I hope you are clear with this one. Go through the video once again. I'll also provide you the notes along with this. Okay, I'll end the today's class here itself. Thank you.